Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is episode number 12 of the 3D platformer series, and this is going to be a short video in which we are going to finish our rocket launcher system. So let's get started by making a couple of changes to our rocket launcher script. Now, in the last video we had this kind of system in which it had this I enumerator called attack, but I'm actually changing that because I think that the rocket should only fire once. I was thinking on saying that each rocket launcher will keep firing, but that would be a bit too harsh for the player. So we are just going to have it do it once when it actually sees the thing. And in here we are going to say something like well, we are actually just going to disable the script after that. So we are going to go enabled is equal to false after doing all of this. So I've added this in the big method now when we are checking everything, and once it happens we are going to do all of our attacking and then set enable to default. Simple as that. Now we can go under rocket, and now we can try to add our actual logic for the collision. So I'm going to add a collision enter method here on collision enter, and in this method what we are going to do is we are going to say if other dot compare tag compare, okay, if other dot game object dot compare tag with player, so the tag of the other object is player, then we are going to of course destroy the game object after hitting the player. But before we do that, we also want to do a couple of things, which most importantly we want to once we have destroyed this game object, what we want to do is that we want to actually apply a force to the player. So for this we can obtain the rigid body of the player by saying rigid body rb is equal to other dot get component other dot game object dot get component player, not player get component rigid body. We are using a rigid body here. All right, with that done, what we can do is we can now actually add the force to the rigid body in here. So how are we going to do that? Now the main point here is that we actually do not need to do this. We can if you remember, we have got a jump method in the player class which does take in a multiplier. So we can just use that because that is going to be a really nice way to do that. So what I need to do is I need to make this public instead of private. I can go under rocket .cs, and in here I can change this rigid body to a player called player, just call it player, and then take this and actually just realize we have got a reference to the player already in here, and no, we haven't actually. So we will need to get a reference to the player, and once we have done that, we can just say player dot jump, and for the multiplier we can give it something like our force. So I've got a variable here already called force, which is exposed into the unity inspector serialized field. So I can go under unity now and I can let it compile. Shouldn't take that long. And once it has done that, I can go and select my rocket, and I can set the force to something like 30. Let's set it to something like 40. We do not want the effect to be too much, just enough to throw the player off guard for a moment. And let's go and let's see. Okay, that was a bit too much. All right. Let's reduce the force down a bit uh, to something like 15, and you can see that I have increased the speed of the rocket as well. And if I go ahead and I get hit now, then I still get a pretty large jump. That's actually we will need to make that a little smaller, but it's a bit more reasonable than the previous one. And you can see that, okay, that's not reasonable at all. Okay. And the point is that we are using a multiplier here, so we will have to use something really small like 4 to get a nice jump, because we are using a multiplier with the actual jump force of the player. All right, now let's go in here and let's see what that looks like. Okay. So this is pretty nice. This should be enough to throw the player off guard, but that's a bit too much still. Let's just use 3 here because that makes 2.5 makes the most sense to me, and this is pretty nice. So yeah, we have got a working system for the rocket now, and this was just a short video. I'm going to end it here, and I will see you in the next one, in which we will add sound effects to our game. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.